Hello and welcome. My name is Shasta Roberts, and this is my book club. Every week we read a chapter of my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. This week we are on part 3, the separation stage, and we are going to read stage number 1, the awkward stage. When I finally made my decision to leave my marriage, I knew right away it would be one of the most awkward conversations I was ever going to have. How can it not be awkward? No matter who must do it, no matter what type of relationship came before it, it will be awkward. It's not like I haven't told him during a fight. I wished I hadn't married him. The difference between those times and this one would be we weren't fighting. Since I came to my decision while on a date together, we were actually in a good place when I asked to talk to him. I waited until we were home with the kids in bed so I could be truthful and not have to worry about interruptions or what would happen next. Our talk, although seemed long, was actually short. I didn't have any more to say than I had already said. It was clear neither of us were happy, nor hadn't been happy in a long time. He asked me to give him 6 more months, but I refused. We don't have a small house, but we don't have a big house either. We have a 3-bedroom house, and all the rooms are occupied between the 5 of us. We don't have a spare bedroom for guests to sleep in. Guests get the blow-up mattress in the downstairs living room. This meant, after I told him I wanted a divorce, we had to sleep in the same bed together, or one of us had to sleep on the blow-up mattress. We had never kicked each other out of bed to sleep on the couch before, and this seemed to not change that. I wish I could say the awkwardness was just sleeping in the same bed. However, it turned into the most awkward couple weeks of my life. We went from having a relationship to not being together, but still living together. Nothing really made sense, and it felt like we were living in purgatory. I had given him every chance in the last year to step up. I had already told him I needed a change, or we were not going to make it past that year. I never wanted it to get to this point. I wanted him to wake up and be a part of our life. I wanted more than anything to fix our broken marriage. I tried to make him understand that I could not be holding us up anymore. I was tired of drowning in our life while he sits on the sidelines of his life. For the 6 months leading up to our Italy vacation, I would ask him monthly how he thought we were doing. We would talk about our needs, and every time he wouldn't have any needs. I would have to be the bad person, stating I was still overwhelmed and felt like he wasn't even trying. He again and again would say he is happy, and I was meeting all his needs. One time in all the months, I was finally able to get out of him that he wanted more positive affirmations. All this time, I got one thing he needed from me, and each time I would give him a handful of things I needed from him. Each month, it was the same conversation. Nothing at all changed. I needed him to be present when he was home, help with the kids, see life as plentiful and not dwell on what you don't have. Embrace and love on me. Most months, my marriage was worse after we would talk. He began to resent me for not being happy at the status quo. I wanted more and knew I had every right to want more. I knew I deserved more, and so did he. I don't want to sleep in the same bed as someone every night, but never touch. I don't deserve to have my actions daily pulled apart as a way of an attack on my character. I will not stand to be married to someone who never keeps a promise but condemns me for my actions. I'm not a bad person, and I don't like to make anybody feel unworthy. But at some point, marriage should be more joyful and uplifting than a wrecking ball. He is not a bad person for not changing. People are who they are. We are conditioned by our past as to how we act today. Changing our conditioning is hard, especially when you don't understand what created your actions. Although he would not tell me any complaints, I still went above and beyond to take care of everything I knew he might not be telling me, such as having a clean house, dinner ready for him, and the kids completely taken care of. I planned him an awesome 40th birthday party, and I planned our entire trip to Italy. I asked him to help or if he wanted to help, but he would say that he trusted my planning. I took this all in stride. I didn't let it get me down. I was going to try everything I could to make our marriage work. The problem was, I got nothing in return. I never once told him I was all good or fine or happy. I tried to be completely honest and say what I really felt without getting mad or yelling. I needed help. I would beg for help. I was tired of doing all the cooking, cleaning, bills, and taking care of all the kids' needs. I wanted him involved in our life. And with each one of these, I gave him ways to be involved. And he still refused. He kept saying he would do anything to fix our marriage, but his actions spoke louder than his words. What he was really saying is he would talk through anything, but on a day-to-day basis, nothing would change, since nothing did change. We went through the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University to get him more involved in the bills. It did not help, and he refused by making excuses of why he didn't have time. I would cook 5 nights a week, and he only had the 2 nights I didn't get home until 8 p.m. He would still tell me I needed to decide what's for dinner and let him know what to make. The nights he was home before me and could pick up the kids and bring them home, he would grumble and most of the time refuse. He didn't want to come out of his way to pick up our kids. He stated he needed to get home and relax because he had been working all day. There were so many times he could step up. I didn't need him to take over everything. I just needed him not to complain when he had to be a husband or a dad. Nothing I did changed his mind. His mind was set. He worked a more physical job and more hours than me, which meant he should be allotted more leeway than me. In his mind, I had an easy life, and he never understood why I ever complained. I had the privilege to make the kids their lunches, take and pick them up from school. He would complain that he didn't have the time, and I did, so I should be the one to do it all. In his mind, he didn't have the time like I did. We live in the same 24 hours a day, just like everyone else. It is what we choose to do in those 24 hours that defines us. I choose to look at the day half full after work. I still had time to spend with my children and live my life. He chooses to see that day half empty when he got off work. He didn't have enough time left for anything he didn't want to give it to. Most days, the important after-work activity was playing on his phone. So, you can imagine overnight he went from everything is fine and Shasta will take care of it to fight or flight mode of I need to win her back. In my mind, there was nothing winning me back. Fool me once, it's on you. Fool me twice, it's on me. I have already spent a decade wishing my marriage would change and trying to make it change. I'm not spending another decade doing the same thing. I am a simple girl, I think. I like nice things, but the price of them doesn't matter to me. I am more about thoughtful things in my life. I don't need you to buy me flowers. A simple heartfelt card would be a bigger step forward. A surprise date or grabbing my hand to hold while we drive are easy ways to show you care. After 10 years of marriage and 13 years of being together, you would think by now something as simple as that would be figured out. The morning after I decided I asked for a divorce, I had to make it clear that I was clear in what I said. I had to cut off all intimacy. His thing had always been to kiss me goodbye when he left in the morning. That morning, it ended. For 10 years, the only time he would touch me outside of sex was to give me a kiss goodbye. It was his way of thinking everything is okay today because we kissed goodbye. To make sure he knew I meant what I said instead of just thinking I was mad and said it out of spite, I stopped the morning kisses. I was true in every word I said to him, and now I needed to make the change that would lead to an even bigger change. This one act of me cutting off the morning kiss goodbye swept him into a downward spiral. He didn't quite know what to do. It finally all became real. When what I said started sinking in. He started to react instead of responding to the situation. When you react out of fear, instead of respond out of love, you inject poison directly into the veins of your relationship. Stephen Maraboli. This is exactly what happened next. He reacted to the situation and didn't respond to it very well. I can't blame him for it. If I were in the same spot, I probably would be scrambling too. Instead of trying to fix how we got to this place, he started with buying gifts and crying to me daily about how sorry he was. The first couple days, he came and ruined my morning treadmill workout with him trying to say he was sorry. Sorry was too late. I'm well past sorry. Sorry was a year ago, and let's fix it. I'm now at the point that I don't love him anymore. There's no amount of sorry that will make me love him again. Words are just words. They are not actions. Live through your actions to speak your words for you. After 10 years of no action, his words were hollow. It made him look even more weak to think that saying he was sorry and he was going to fix it was enough. Daily for a week, there was an interruption to my beautiful weight-lifted day to hearing these hollow words. With these words came gifts too. He fell into I need to court you mode. I don't like to be bought things. I want something from the heart. A bouquet of flowers is just beautiful flowers cut to die. I like a fresh bouquet of flowers on my table just as much as anyone else. That is not the way to my heart, and one of the furthest things from it. One of the days while I was on the treadmill, he had to run out before the kids were up and bought me Starbucks. Really? It was followed by one of those lost words, humdrum speeches again. The time to be courted is over. I gave out that last chance a year ago. I came straight to you to talk this out and get on the same page. I tried everything I could, and nothing changed. Not until I fell out of love with you did something click back into place. None of the gestures or grand speeches could make a difference. You could not fall back in love with someone as easy as you fell in love with them in the first time. All of it just made it more awkward for the already awkward situation. After 2 weeks, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to put an end to the misery of awkwardness. We had to sit down and talk again. This time it wasn't about us, but it was about him. I don't know what or if anything will fix us. What I do know is I would never love the man I was looking at. All I could see was weakness. physically, but emotionally and significantly weak. I don't want to, as you say, wear the pants in the relationship. I want to share them. I want to have a life together, not singularly. That could not happen with the man that was sitting in front of me. He needed to start working on himself first. I just spent the greater part of a year working on myself. Two people cannot make each other whole. They need to come together whole, all ready to have the best life. They need to come together whole, or I had already made myself whole. He needed to find his path there too. I had to make him see that everything he was doing was hindering anything getting better. I didn't know where we were going. I just knew I wasn't going anywhere further with this man by my side. I couldn't honestly say if him changing was going to change anything for me. I knew, though, that it would change everything for our kids. He can be a better dad if he is a whole person emotionally. He needs that, and I need that for him. It was such a hard place to get past the first 2 weeks. Still sleeping in the same bed together, but being no more than glorified roommates. I am thankful we got past this phase because what came next would only be better for everyone. All right, that is the first chapter of the separation stage of my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. Please leave me a comment. I love to hear what you think of every single chapter, and give me a thumbs up. I would love that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so then you can see my videos every single week. And if you hit that notification bell, it'll actually notify you when I post a chapter instead of it just posting in your feed. So I will see you guys next week for separation stage number 2. Bye.